Okay, I think I'll start then. Okay. So today my name is Midhun, and I'm going to be talking about Next.js. It's a React framework. So there are actually two different frameworks with the same name. So just show it like a similar name. So one is NEST.js, which is a Node.js framework, and one is Next.js as well, which is as a framework for Vue. What I'm going to be covering is the React framework called next.js. Okay. So before I talk about the framework, I would like to talk about how rendering is done. Hello, hello. Yeah,
You're audible.
yeah. Okay. Okay. So I would like to talk about how this JavaScript frameworks actually render the HTML on the client side, our browsers. So one is client side rendering. So it's basically how single page applications work. So take any framework like React or Angular or Vue. The model that they follow is like this. Like we actually take a we actually make a request to the server, and the server returns it as a basic HTML markup, and it is loaded into our browser. And since this basic HTML markup will have script tags which will load the corresponding JS JavaScript, which includes the a library like React or Vue or Angular, and also our code. And after it's executed, the DOM elements in our website are rendered, and we visually the visual components are loaded here. Okay, so this is the model that most single page applications work. So one of the drawbacks with this model is that we do not have much search engine optimization uh, with this model, because for search engines, they have this web crawlers that actually make a request to the server, so they will be getting this basic HTML markup, which does not contain any information about the page that it is going to be rendered. So since the JavaScript framework or library renders the DOM, this search engine web crawlers won't be having much information about the what the page is about. Okay, so that's one of the problems with this one. And so in order to have search engine optimization, we can have actually server side rendering with this frameworks or libraries like React or Angular. So how this model actually works is, we are making a request to the server. So at the when we are making this request, the server pre-renders that HTML using the React components or Angular components, and creates that template of that HTML and returns it back to the browser. Okay, so at this time, this page is viewable. Okay, but it is not interactable, and we cannot navigate to different pages unless the JavaScript code is downloaded and executed. Okay, so that's the model in which a server-side rendering works. It helps with search engine optimization. And so these are the two models this JS frameworks work. Okay, so suppose for a simple web page, take this for example. You have a, different HTML markup, different text and all. So that if you are looking at this one, it's mostly static, that it won't be changing very dynamically based on dynamic data. Okay, so the problem that occurs with client side rendered and server side rendered HTML is that there is a computation time in the server side or the client side in both these models. Like you have to render that HTML either on the server side in server side rendering, or render it here in the client side rendering. So this is one of the problem that Next.js tried to address. So for this static HTML, we can actually create a static HTML and just give it back to the browser when we are actually making a request to this page. Okay, so I'll go on to the code, see how it actually works. So if you have to start a Next.js app. This is the command that you would be creating. So it provides a create next app command line interface, and we can specify the name of the project that we are building, and it uses a basic example from Vercel GitHub. Okay, so I've already done that, created that here. So I'll open that project and hope it's visible here. Okay, so for a basic Next.js application, this would be the folder structure that you will be having. So there are only two folders that are important, like pages folder and the public folder. Okay, so how would you run it? You can run dev. So next dev would command would actually start a webpack dev server and host it on localhost 3000. So this is our basic Next.js application, which has a single page here. Now, uh, in the pages folder, there's an index.js file. So it's a React component, functional component, and it has some sort of data, like it has some HTML markups and uh, two different style tags as well. Okay, so this is a React component, and uh, we have to like what Next.js does is it transforms this React component into a HTML simple HTML file, and it provides that HTML file whenever we make a request to the server. So I'll show you how it is built. You can use the next build command to build that uh, JS file. So after it's built, you can see that it will be building a single index.html, which is the main landing page of the application. A 404 page will be uh, built by default, and different JS library code will also be generated for that. Okay, so in order to view this page, you can go to .next folder, server, pages. So this is the HTML that is built when we are actually building that. So it's actually minified. So you can just format. Now, as you can see, it's similar to the like it's built from index.js. So we have a two style tags which we saw, and the different HTML markup. It's already which is pre-rendered. So this will be the code that we be hosting in server, and this HTML will be sent to the client side as it is, so that there's no rendering time either on the server side or the client side. So uh, it helps in performance for like static websites where we do not have any like dynamic data to work with. Okay, so I'll just run this again. Okay. Next.js actually uses a file system based routing. So if you wanted to have another page, let's say about.js. So we can just create a page, sorry, create a React component which renders a single h1 tag. Now, in order to access that site, you can just go to /about. So all the routes will be starting from /pages, from the pages directory. So it will go to index about.js and all. And if you wanted to like have different paths, you can add a folder. And let's say I'm creating a folder called post, and I'm creating another component. It's a first post component, and this basic React component we are loading. So in order to view that, you can just go to post/first post. So we'll be having rendering that HTML. So I'll just build this once again so you can see what is actually generated. Okay, so if you go to .next, it's the build folder for next. So inside here, you can see that the we already have the index.html, we have the about file. So this markup is loaded as a single HTML file, and similarly the first post component also we are having, which is a simple HTML file. Okay. Now the like say static HTML file, so it does not depend on any sort of data. Suppose we wanted to okay, I'll talk about linking these pages first. Okay, so suppose uh, you can use a link component from next itself. So index.js, I'm just okay. So you use this link component to route to whichever component that I need to route. So I can just use that link, and it will be routed to that pages where it is. Um, okay, and one more thing, this is actually a very good abstraction sort of. So as you can see, if you are using create react app, it uses a module bundler called webpack behind its under its hood. So webpack actually takes in all the javascript files and uh, creates a bundle .js file, a single javascript file, and single html and single css. So it uses this webpack behind its hood to generate that static HTML, and it uses different plugins which we don't have to uh, worry about because it's used in the next CLI. So it also because it provides that level of abstraction, as a developer you won't have to worry about the configuration for that webpack and all. But it removes a lot of flexibility from our side as well while creating. And also it has like lazy loading built in by default. So whenever we are accessing a page on next.js, this page the JavaScript needed for this page, and all the CSS and the HTML needed for this page will be loaded only. So as we have hundreds of pages, it can be like if you are taking any single page from there, it will only be loading that like resources needed for that page only. Okay. Now, this is just as we saw, these two components didn't need any data to work with. Suppose we needed to like take any data, so we can use a function called get static props. So I'll just you have to just add this function. So this function would be executed at build time. So suppose you have to create a static page, and you have to take in some data from the database or an API or from the file system itself. So you can use this method to fetch in data and pass in and props to this component while at build time. So I'll just copy paste a few util functions. You can create a data folder. So I'm creating a like a array of objects with some data post, and I'll create a util class as well. Okay. So you just have to take about worry about this function, which is a function that is getting post data. You can I have just added a delay function here to just mock some REST API or DB client. So it's a async function with it returns a uh, array of objects post, and which we can call it in our first post component. You can just await this, and you can say post this props we this signifies the props that will be passing into our component when we are building this page. So we can take it post. So here if you have a creating a list of items like item. Okay, so we are passing, let's see if it works. Okay, as you can see, after it has been loaded, we are getting the data from like if you have to make a DB or an API call, you can get the data and the value will be created here. So this is created at build time. It gets static props. So it's not actually like calling at on every request. So if you have to take this build command, you can see that that HTML has been already been pre generated. Pages post first post.html. You can see that this HTML has been already pre-generated and given there. Now it also Next.js by default it has a hybrid static and server rendering. So what we saw is static rendering. Now if you wanted to generate that data on the fly by on every request, okay. So this is another function that you can give. Uh, get server side props. So how it would be, right? Would be is like similar to this. You can give this same server side props. So like executed on every request. So it will be basically send server side rendered. So you can have different approaches for different pages in your website where you have a static set of data. You can use static rendering, and if some page in here depends on let's say a dynamic data, you can uh, do that with server side rendering as well. Now so this is the three features, basic features that we have. uh, and yeah, you saw static generation with and without data. And okay, so Next.js also provides API creation as well. So under the hood, it uses a Node.js based server as well to to create this. So what we have is if you wanted to like have an API endpoint here as well, just give API hello Node.js. So you can just have a default function which takes in a request and response similar to Express controllers, and this returns a simple text text as hello. Okay, so if you are saving and running it, you can see that it returns JSON based on the logic that we give here. So it can act as a API backend to your server as well. But me personally wouldn't like it's an optional feature, but it actually tightly couples your UI code and the backend code in this case. So it will be like if you are changing the front end, yeah, you have to change the backend as well. So it will be tightly coupled. And that's most of the features that we in Next.js. Then yeah, I think I'm done. Yeah, so it's a framework that can, and also there's a I've just followed this tutorial in the website itself, and you can actually have like client side data fetching as well. Okay, so it's given by a hook from their next team itself. So you can use a hook here in your component, which will fetch the data when it's loaded into your HTML. So it both has it has both this client side rendering, server side rendering, and static side generation built into it. So you can do this, and yeah. So some of the websites, and the like Twitch is built with this. So it's a game streaming website, and you can see that. And yeah, it's this next data that is built with Next.js. And one more Netflix jobs. Yeah, so some of the websites that's been created. And yeah, I think that's it from my side. I have also not taken that CSS part. Like you can, it has a CSS based module system where you can add to the CSS that you add will be only limited to one component only. So it's like encapsulation for those components. So that's a bit basic features from Next.js. Do you have any doubts? Anyone? Hello.
No, not right now.
Okay. Hello.
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 Yeah, I think you are not visible, like audible.
Audible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Midhun, so server-side rendering,
Yeah.
server-side dynamic rendering. So that part you didn't show, right?
Yeah, I didn't show
Okay. Okay.
because
Okay.
yeah, you can just give it as a function here, server side prop. So this function would be executed whenever we are making a request to the server, and so so it depends on a post property right here. So only this part of the HTML template will be generated at what do you say, request time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, okay. My follow-up question would be, okay,
Yeah,
see, previously before single-page applications,
yeah,
so we had server-side rendering, dynamic C templates like JSP
yeah,
and Racer templates,
yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, at server side. Yeah,
Yeah. So, and Node.js came as something useful for IO-bound systems. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So when we come back to CPU-bound operations like these, is Node.js ideal for that? Just
Um, I think uh,
no, I see this trend
yeah,
in
yeah,
Node.js community. I don't know
yeah.
if it's right. If it's the
Yeah,
right
we
tool for the
like
job.
yeah, I also feel like we are going back to like server side. So so you just so but showcasing this framework, just like I looked it up one week back. So yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Think I think we can conclude, right? Any more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. Thank
Thank.
you.
Bye.